You walk into a store, just looking to replace that old TV that finally gave up. You're expecting a simple choice. Maybe a clearer screen, maybe a remote that actually fits in your hand. Instead, you're surrounded by glowing rectangles, screaming words like quantum reality and AI upscaling. Here's the thing. Modern TVs have become too smart for their own good. Sloppy UI you need a magnifying glass to read. Complicated menus that hide the volume control. Buttons on the remote that do absolutely nothing. And for seniors, what should be a relaxing evening can turn into a full-blown tech headache. That's exactly why I made this video today. We're breaking down 10 major TV brands, ranking them from the most confusing to the most comfortable, so you don't waste a single dollar on something that makes your life harder instead of easier. And get this, the number one pick isn't the most expensive, it's not the flashiest, it's just the one that actually works the way you need it to. So let's start from the bottom of this list and work our way up to the TV that finally gets it right. Number 10, Vizio. You'd think a TV with big buttons and simple design would be perfect for anyone who just wants to watch their shows, until the ads start popping up. Here's the problem with Vizio. Confusing software that feels like it was designed by a committee that never agreed on anything. Buggy updates that reset your settings back to factory defaults. Menus that change themselves overnight. And those reports? They're everywhere. Users complaining about random crashes. Apps that stop working for no reason. And promotional content you can't remove no matter how hard you try. For seniors, using a Vizio is like trying to read a book while someone keeps flipping the pages for you. You finally get comfortable, find your favorite streaming app, and then, boom. The whole thing rearranges itself after an update. The remote has too many buttons that all look the same. The menu structure changes based on what ads they want to show you. And customer support? Good luck getting someone who can actually help instead of reading from a script. Vizio might be cheap, but it's definitely not cheerful. Avoid this one unless you genuinely enjoy troubleshooting technology on a Saturday night. And speaking of frustration, next up is Amazon Fire TV. That includes the Omni series and Insignia models. Alexa's cool when she's helpful. She's not cool when she won't stop talking. The core issue here is an overcrowded home screen absolutely packed with Amazon advertisements. And get this, users are constantly complaining that it pushes Prime content even when you don't have Prime, or even when you're actively trying to watch something else entirely. You just want to watch the local news, but the TV keeps suggesting you rent the latest blockbuster for $19.99. For seniors, this is tough. It's hard to find your actual shows. Easy to get lost in a sea of recommendations you never asked for. The interface changes based on what Amazon wants to sell you that week, not based on what you want to watch. And the voice commands sound convenient until you realize Alexa misunderstands you half the time, especially if you have any kind of accent or speak a little slower. Then you're repeating yourself 3 times just to change the channel. Voice control is nice, sure, but this one talks way too much and listens way too little to what you actually want. Moving down the list, we've got Philips running Google TV. It looks like a premium European brand, sounds fancy, feels like it should be top tier. But then you try to use it, and it plays like a mid-tier maze. The problem is Google TV menus with text so small you'd think they designed it for people with superhero vision. Plus, there's occasional lag that makes you wonder if the TV is thinking really hard about whether it wants to obey your command. Users report slow loading times and captions that are basically unreadable without squinting. For seniors, it's like trying to read the fine print on a billboard while driving past it at 60 miles per hour. Here's the thing. It works fine once you get it all set up. The picture quality is actually pretty decent. The colors are accurate. The brightness is good. But setup? That's not easy. That's an afternoon project. And if you ever need to change something later, good luck finding where they buried that setting. You'll be clicking through menu after menu looking for something that should be obvious. The remote is also oddly shaped and the buttons don't have much tactile feedback, so you're never quite sure if you pressed something or not. Then there's Hisense, also running Google TV. Big screen, small patience required. Hisense gives you a great picture. Colors are bright. Contrast is solid. You can actually see what's happening in dark scenes, which is more than you can say for a lot of budget options. But here's where it falls apart. Muddy. Audio and buggy software updates that seem to break more than they fix. Reviews consistently call it bright but unreliable over time. For seniors, that means clear visuals but unclear voices. Not ideal when you're trying to follow the news or watch a talk show. You'll catch every facial expression, but you might miss half the dialogue. And that's frustrating because you bought a TV to watch shows, not to play a guessing game about what people are saying. The dialogue gets buried under music and sound effects. Actors mumble and you can't make out what they're saying without cranking the volume so high that the commercials blast you out of your seat. It's worth it if you pair it with a soundbar, but don't expect perfection right out of the box. You're going to need to invest some extra money and time to make it work the way you want. And even then, those software updates will occasionally reset your sound settings back to default. If this is already saving you from a headache, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what's next. Next is TCL, running Google TV. TCL is a solid budget pick that tries to do everything at once and almost pulls it off. Almost. The issue is slow menus on the cheaper models, and ads that are mixed directly into the interface so you can't tell what's a suggestion and what's an actual app you installed. Reviewers call it good for tech-savvy users. And that right there tells you everything you need to know. For seniors, it feels like your TV is making you take a test before it lets you watch anything. You just want to turn it on and relax. Instead, you're navigating through 5 screens to find the channel guide. That said, it does have a good picture and a fair price. The colors pop. The blacks are actually black. The motion handling is decent for sports. You just need patience and maybe a helpful grandkid on speed dial. If you can get past the learning curve, it'll serve you well. But that's a big if. And the remote? It's small and slippery, easy to drop, easy to lose between the couch cushions. Now we're entering the better half of this list, the TVs that actually start to make sense. We're halfway there, and this is where the list gets good. From here on out, it's all about TVs that actually make your life easier instead of harder. No more confusing interfaces. No more hidden settings. No more feeling like you need a computer science degree just to change the input. The top 5 brands on this list are the ones that understand something important. A TV should help you relax, not stress you out. These are the brands that remember what TVs used to be like, back when you could just turn them on and they'd work. So let's keep going. At number 5, we have ON, sold exclusively at Walmart and running Roku OS. You grab it off the shelf because it's cheap. Maybe you're skeptical. You're thinking, how good can a $78 TV really be? And then surprise, it's actually easy to use. The strength here is the simple remote with big, clearly labeled buttons, text that's easy to read from across the room, not just when you're standing 2 feet away. A layout that feels familiar from day one, like meeting up with an old friend who hasn't changed a bit. It runs Roku OS, which means no fluff, no clutter, just rows of channels you can actually navigate without getting lost. For seniors, it's a breath of fresh air, easy to read, easy to control, no guessing games about which button does what. The home button always takes you home. The back button actually goes back. The star button gives you quick options like captions and audio settings. You won't get the fanciest picture quality on the planet, but you will get something that just works without a manual. And here's what really matters. You can set it up yourself. You don't need to wait for your grandson to come over and figure it out for you. The instructions are clear. The steps make sense. You plug it in, connect to your Wi-Fi, and you're watching TV in under 10 minutes. That's the kind of experience that used to be normal, and ON brings it back. The picture is good enough for daily watching. The sound is clear enough for news and talk shows. And the price means you're not stressed about the investment. If something goes wrong in 3 years, you can replace it without breaking the bank. But honestly, with Roku's track record, it'll probably last longer than that. Coming in at number 4 is LG, running WebOS. LG has been sitting in living rooms for decades, and it shows in the best possible way. They've figured out what matters. And what matters is that you can actually hear every single word. Their Clear Voice Pro feature is a game changer. It amplifies dialogue without blasting background music or sound effects. You know how in most movies the explosions are deafening but the conversations are whispers? LG fixed that. Plus, you get fast access to captions and audio guidance right from the home screen, no hunting, through settings. No accidentally turning on Korean subtitles when you just wanted English captions. For seniors, this is gold. You can finally enjoy a movie without constantly reaching for the remote to turn up the volume, only to get your eardrums blown out by the next action scene. And the remote itself? It's comfortable. It fits in your hand. The buttons have a nice click to them, so you know when you've pressed something. Some models even come with a pointer remote that works like a computer mouse, which is surprisingly intuitive once you try it. The interface is clean but not boring, colorful but not overwhelming. It uses a horizontal ribbon of apps at the bottom of the screen, so you're not covering up what you're watching just to access settings. It's reliable, it's smart, but it still feels familiar, like they took everything good about old TVs and just made it a little bit better. And the picture quality is excellent without being fussy. You get great colors right out of the box. No need to spend an hour tweaking settings to make skin tones look natural. The TV does a good job of adjusting itself based on the lighting in your room. And if you do want to adjust something, the menus make sense. They use plain English instead of technical jargon. LG also has excellent customer support. If you run into a problem, You can actually get help from someone who knows what they're talking about. If you're finding this helpful, hit the like button. It really helps the channel cut through the noise. The number 3 spot goes to Samsung running Tizen. Slick design, fast startup, clean menus that don't make you hunt for basic features. Samsung nailed the interface. Everything is where you expect it to be. The volume control is in the same place every time. The input switcher doesn't hide itself 3 menus deep. And get this, their amplify mode boosts voices clearly without making everything else sound like a robot convention. Settings are easy to reach. You don't have to dig through 7 sub-menus just to turn on captions or adjust the brightness. Reviewers consistently note the strong audio clarity and accessible menus. For seniors, it feels quick and responsive. Almost premium, without the learning curve. You press a button and something happens immediately. No lag, no thinking, no wondering if the TV heard you. Samsung gives you clarity without clutter. Speed without confusion. The remote is well designed with raised buttons you can feel in the dark, so you're not accidentally hitting the wrong thing when you're watching a movie at night. And here's something nice. The TV remembers your preferences. You set the captions once, and they stay on. You adjust the voice amplification once, and it stays that way. You're not constantly fighting with it to keep your settings. If you want a TV that feels modern but doesn't make you feel old for asking how it works, this is it. It respects your time and your intelligence. You can figure it out on your own, but you also don't feel like you're being tested every time you use it. The picture quality is outstanding too. Samsung's been making screens forever, and it shows. Colors are vibrant but natural. Motion is smooth. Whether you're watching sports or dramas or the evening news, everything looks good. And the TV boots up fast. No waiting 30 seconds for it to wake up. You press power and you're watching TV within a few seconds. That might sound small, but it makes a huge difference in daily use. You're not standing there wondering if it's broken every time you turn it on. At number 2, we have Sony, specifically the Bravia line running Google TV. Now, I know what you're thinking. Didn't we already talk about Google TV earlier? Didn't we say it was confusing? Yes, but Sony did something special here. They took Google TV and actually made it work properly. They nailed Voice Zoom 3. And if you've ever struggled to understand dialogue on TV, this feature is about to change. Your life. It's perfect for conversation-heavy shows. British dramas where everyone has thick accents. Detective series where the clues are whispered. Talk shows where multiple people speak over each other. News programs where you need to catch every word. Anything where voices matter. Clear voices. Balanced volume. No more rewinding because you missed a critical line. Users give it consistent praise for sound clarity and surprisingly easy setup, especially compared to other Google TV models. Sony took the time to pre-configure things sensibly. The menus are organized better, the text is bigger, the most important features are easier to find. They added accessibility shortcuts right on the home screen. For seniors, it feels like watching live theater again. No mumbled words, no straining to hear. No asking your spouse what that character just said. No frustration from missing the punchline of a joke. And get this, you don't lose the background music or sound effects. They're still there. They're just not drowning out the people talking. The balance is perfect. You hear the rain in the background, but you also hear what the detective is saying about the clues. Sony also builds their TVs to last. You're not replacing this in 2 years because it slowed down or stopped working. These are solid machines that keep performing year after year. The components are high quality. The software is well optimized. Updates actually improve things instead of breaking them. It's pricey, no question. You're looking at significantly more money than the budget options. We're talking several $100s more in most cases, but it's worth every single dollar if hearing clarity matters to you. And let's be honest, at this stage of life, why settle for a TV that makes you work hard just to enjoy your favorite shows? You've earned the right to have technology that works for you, not against you. Sony delivers that. They've thought about the details, the remote is ergonomic, the on-screen text is legible. The help menus are actually helpful, and if you need to call support, they're patient and knowledgeable. And finally, the number 1 spot goes to Roku TV. This includes Roku Pro Series, TCL models running Roku, and those ON models we mentioned earlier. No login screens demanding passwords you forgot 3 years ago. No clutter, no stress. Just a TV that works. Here's what makes Roku the absolute winner. Big tiles you can actually see from across the room. A simple remote with buttons that make sense. Instant captions with one press. And that 4-tap voice shortcut? It's basically magic. You can search for shows just by talking, and it actually understands you the first time. Seniors love the speed and how straightforward everything feels. Fewer updates that break things, fewer crashes, fewer reasons to call your grandkid for tech support. And here's the thing, Using a Roku TV is like coming home to that old recliner you've had for 20 years. It just fits. The interface doesn't change every 6 months. Your apps stay where you put them. The remote has dedicated buttons for popular services, so you can jump straight to Netflix or YouTube without navigating through menus. You press power, you pick a channel, you watch your show. That's it. That's the whole experience. No ads blocking your home screen, no recommendations you didn't ask for, no pop-ups trying to sell you things. For seniors, this is the most comfortable and frustration-free experience you can get in 2025. It doesn't try to be smarter than you, it just tries to help you relax. The sound is clear enough to understand dialogue without tweaking anything. The picture is good enough to enjoy what you're watching, and everything loads fast. No waiting around while the TV buffers or thinks about what it's supposed to do. You tell it to play something, and it plays. And honestly, that's exactly what a TV should do. It should disappear into the background and just let you enjoy your evening. Roku understands that. They're not trying to impress you with fancy features you'll never use. They're just trying to give you a pleasant, reliable experience every single time you sit down to watch something. The remote is simple, lightweight, not too many buttons. The important ones are clearly labeled and easy to press. There's a headphone jack on the side of the remote so you can listen privately without disturbing anyone, which is brilliant for late night watching. The menus load instantly. There's no complicated setup process. You don't need to create accounts or remember passwords for the TV itself. You just add the streaming services you already use. And the search function? It searches across all your apps at once and shows you where each show is available and how much it costs. No more hunting through 5 different apps to find the movie you want to watch. Roku does the work for you. It's respectful of your time and your intelligence. And that's increasingly rare in modern technology. So here's how this all shakes out. At the bottom, you've got the flashy brands that confuse more than they help. They promise the world and deliver a headache. Vizio with its constant ads and buggy updates. Amazon Fire TV that won't stop trying to sell you things. Philips with text you can't read and menus you can't navigate. These TVs are designed for young people who grew up with smartphones and don't mind troubleshooting tech problems. In the middle, you've got the value picks. Good if you've got patience or a tech-savvy grandkid who doesn't mind setting things up for you. Hisense and TCL will work if you're willing to fiddle with settings and maybe add a soundbar. They're not bad TVs, they're just not easy TVs. You'll get a good picture for the price, but you'll pay for it in frustration and setup time. But at the top, it's all about comfort. TVs that just work without making you feel like you need an engineering degree. LG and Samsung that give you premium features without the premium confusion. These are TVs from companies that have been doing this for decades and actually learned from their mistakes. Sony that makes every word crystal clear. Perfect if you're tired of constantly adjusting the volume or asking people to repeat themselves. And Roku that brings back the simple joy of just turning on the TV and watching what you want, the way TVs used to work before everything got complicated. Here's the thing, you don't need a smart home. You don't need a TV that talks to your refrigerator or tracks your viewing habits to sell you more stuff. You need a TV that sounds clear, reads easy, and doesn't make you log in to 6 different accounts just to watch cable. So if you're over 55, don't let marketing buzzwords decide what you buy. Don't fall for the salesman telling you about quantum dots and 120 Hz refresh rates. Let peace of mind decide. Let comfort decide. Because the best TV isn't the one with the brightest colors or the most artificial intelligence features. It's the one that doesn't make you feel dumb for using it. It's the one that lets you sit down at the end of a long day, grab the remote, and actually enjoy what you're watching without fighting with technology. And in 2025, that TV is a Roku. Simple as that. Let me know in the comments which brand on this list surprised you the most, and if you want smarter tech guides that actually make sense, subscribe and hit the bell. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.